All righty. Welcome to the Bear broadcast. My name is Heath Williams. I will be your commentator for today. Right now, it looks like we have Holly in the viewing area. She's doing a little bit of foraging for some food that we're throwing to her. Holly, right now, you can see that she is shedding a little bit on her back there. It looks kind of gross, and I promise it's entirely normal. Our bears right now are starting to lose their winter coat, so Holly here is doing some shedding, and she'll knock that fur off pretty quick by rubbing her back on some logs or something, or on a tree, or scratching herself, and she'll get all that fur off. But right now, they are losing their winter coat. They are a little bit late on the draw there. Usually, bears in the wild right now are starting to lose that winter coat pretty quick. So Holly here is a little bit late. So are the rest of our bears. Lots of opportunities for them to cool down, and they're not really working that hard to get food because we've spoiled them here. So Holly is our 11-year-old matriarch. This is her territory. So I imagine if Lucky or Tasha came down, she's going to run them off. Holly is currently eating a whole lot. So she just got out of estrus not that long ago, and she's been eating like a hog ever since. Woo pigs, and she's been eating like crazy, just nonstop. She actually gained about 30 pounds in the last couple of weeks. She was weighing about 260 pounds. Right now, she's weighing at about 290. So she's been eating like crazy. We believe that maybe she has entered hyperphagia already, and that is a stage of life when bears try to pack on that fat for hibernation. Looks like we're going to get her to climb the tree here. Bears are excellent climbers. They have those sharp, rounded claws, and they utilize those to escape danger. So bears are really great at climbing. Cubs especially use that to escape danger whenever there may be a threat. Bears do kind of act like a prey species even now. Even as big as they are, they still kind of have that innate fear in them, so they're very skittish, and they're very easy to scare off, which is great for us because we do get some visitors here at the Bear Center. A lot of male black bears will come and see us sometimes, especially when our females are in heat. That's when they go into estrus. They jack up their hormones. Bears have an excellent sense of smell, so it's about 7 times better than a bloodhound's. So you'll definitely see a lot of males coming to the area thinking that there's a crazy bear party going on when they smell our 2 females in here, and they will try to get in and check out what's going on, and we'll either run them off or they'll meet the electric fence that goes around the length of our perimeter. And so back to what I was saying earlier, Holly here, she did go into estrus a couple of weeks ago. She has since exited that, and she's been gaining a lot of weight. She's actually started to work on a den. So we actually went and found that this morning. It's in the very far back left corner of the 2.5 acres we have here at the Bear Center. And she has been digging it out and made herself kind of a nice little hole in the ground. So she's been working on that pretty consistently. Right now, she's pretty hungry. So I imagine if Lucky or Tasha were to come down here, she'd run them off and take all the food for herself. She wants to eat quick and go back to her den. She's been guarding it pretty heavily. If we go back there when we're on our morning perimeter check, she will run us off. So she, not run us off, kind of escort us off. So she doesn't really like people going back there and messing with it. I'm wondering, and I'm curious to see what she does now that we've gone back there and found it and put our scent around her den. She may end up doing something weird. She has in the past abandoned dens. There was actually a den really close to where she's building her new one. That some bear had started to dig out but had stopped. Maybe kind of the same case. Sometimes we will find their day beds, which is just where they go and lay down whenever they're hot, whenever they're tired, or at night when they're sleeping. And if we go find that in the main habitat while the bears are in, sometimes they will change their day beds because they don't like having our scent around them. So it's kind of where they go to be antisocial. Sometimes they will change that whenever we go find them. So it will be interesting to see what Holly will do. She has been putting a lot of work into her den right now. She actually came to the front after being gone almost all day yesterday, and she was covered head to toe in mud. So she has been working pretty hard down there, working hard at making that thing nice and pretty for herself. Females generally take a lot of pride in their dens because they're the ones that have cubs during January. It should be noted that our bears here Even though they're intact, even though they do go into estrus, Lucky does lack the facility to make cubs here in this facility. So we're not going to have any cubs here. That being said, they do kind of have a innate desire to make those dens pretty for themselves, make it nice and cozy for any cubs they could particularly have. So they dig it out really deep, make it pretty spacious for themselves. They like to put nesting material in there and make it so their cubs would be nice and cozy if they had them here. So females do take a lot of pride in their dens. Males, on the other hand, would really not care a whole lot. Lucky tends to just reuse any old dens that we have. We do have 8 man-made dens here at this facility, and I guess Holly didn't like any of them because she's making her own right now. But Lucky usually will use one of those man-made dens. He's kind of got a favorite right now already, which is in enclosure number 3, personal enclosure number 3. If you'd like to go check out that camera later on, he usually likes to sleep in there when there's a storm, or at night. Sometimes you can find him in there if he's not at his day bed. But right now, it looks like Holly is finishing up her meal, and maybe she will start to wander off here. Looks like she's looking up here at me, begging for food a little bit. We'll see if she wanders off or if she'll stay down here for a little bit longer. Looks like we might give her a little bit more food here as well, so we might get her to stay down here a little bit longer so I can talk about her. But Holly here will probably be about 300 pounds pretty soon, the way she's eating, although she is burning quite a few calories working on that den. So we'll just see where that goes. We do weigh our bears every week, so we do have a bear scale here at the Bear Center. We try to keep their weights at a good level. If we see them getting too overweight or if they're not eating enough, we will adjust their diets, make sure that they're maintaining a natural wild weight. Right now, our female bears in the wild usually range from 90 to 300 pounds. So Holly is going to be at that maximum average for females here pretty soon. Tasha is over that already. She's 330 pounds, and she'll probably be about 400 before she goes into hibernation. That girl really likes to eat, and that's kind of why she looks like a fuzzy bowling ball. But Holly here is probably the leanest of our bears here. She looks really good for her age too. 11 years old. Lucky is 17. He's our oldest bear, and right now he's getting a lot of joint medication because he'll be getting pretty old pretty soon. At about 20, we say they're getting really old or not really old, but pretty old for bears. And so we are giving him joint medication to make sure he's not getting arthritis like Ted had when he unfortunately passed away at the age of 25. Bears usually live from 21 to 37 years old. So we do say that when they get about 20, they're getting in their older years. I actually just turned 20 the other day, so I'm kind of feeling his pain. I got a little joint aches here and there, and so maybe I should start taking the same medication Lucky is. We also give our bears a lot of fish oil here. That's just to help them have nice shiny coats, make sure their pads are nice and moist, make sure they're not getting any cracked pads. Ted suffered from a lot of dry, cracking pads on the bottom of his feet, and that did cause some issues. Some rocks and stuff would get in there and cause him discomfort and pain, and we don't want that to happen to our bears here. You wouldn't really see wild bears eating a whole lot of fish oil, but that's just kind of an extra for our bears to keep them looking pretty and looking and feeling good. Even though Holly right now doesn't look all that pretty because she's got that nasty little spot on her back there that's got a lot of from that fur that she's losing. Usually, I promise, they do look a lot better than this. Looks like she's eating a little berries over there. I'm not entirely sure what kind of berries those are, but she is munching on those. It's good to see them doing their natural foraging behaviors that you would see in the wild. That's what we try to maintain here at the Bear Center. We try to keep them kind of a weird mix between wild and tame. All of our bears here are here for a reason. They couldn't be released back into the wild because they failed their rehabilitation tests. So all of our bears can't go back into the wild. This is going to be their forever home. They do come from different parts of the country. So Holly here is from Arkansas, so Woo Pig. And we also have Tasha is from Southern Kentucky, and Lucky is from Madison, Wisconsin. That does affect hibernation dates as well. Holly's kind of an interesting case, though. She actually may have some northern lineage in her. Because hibernation is partly based off of genetics, we believe that Holly is a little bit got some of those northern genes in her, because way back in the 50s and 60s, Arkansas actually overhunted their black bear population. So we ran out of black bears down there in Arkansas, and we traded a lot of wild turkeys up here to Minnesota, and for some of their black bears. So we got a new population of breeding black bears in Arkansas, and they have a wild turkey population here in Minnesota. And so that was kind of an interesting deal, and we believe that Holly came from that deal because she goes to sleep about the same time that Lucky does. So Lucky's from here, around here. Madison, Wisconsin is not that far off. So they do go into hibernation about the same time, and they're in there for about the same length of time. Tosh, on the other hand, from southern Kentucky, she's born and raised there, and genetically she's from there. So she actually goes into hibernation a little bit later, wakes up a little bit earlier than the rest of our bears. I cannot see Holly anymore. She's wandering back there by the cub tree. She's probably going to go ahead and wander all the way back to her spot back there where she's building her den, and she'll continue to work on that. So I encourage any listeners to tune back in and watch for her to come back around. If she does later today, she'll probably be covered in mud and look kind of dirty because she is building that den back there, and it is getting pretty deep. So imagine she's crawling down inside of it at the moment, trying to dig it out even further. So she's got it. She got a really good entrance made already to it, and she's probably going to be making it wider for herself. We are going to go ahead and keep tabs on that den to make sure that it maintains a good structural integrity, so it's not falling in on her or anything like that. We also may end up having to fill that in with rocks or something if we see that it's got some issues with it, or if during the winter or something it may just collapse on its own. Our bears here were born in the wild, and they were raised for a little while by their mothers before they were orphaned at some point in their lives, and then they were taken in by humans, so they kind of lack all the full natural instincts that you would see in bears in the wild, and that means that maybe Holly's not the best at den making, but we're not going to tell her that because she does have an attitude sometimes, so we're going to keep that to ourselves. Okay, well, I've just got told that I've been talking for way too long. I tend to do that sometimes, believe it or not. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here for you guys. Holly has gone into the woods and may never return. So we will go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this, please tell my superiors. I'm sure they'd be happy to hear it.